Hi everyone, happy Thursday, welcome to my Facebook Live, and Happy New Year. I'm just finishing up checking in to see if I've gone live, that I've done everything correctly. So give me just a second. See if things come up. And it looks like we're good. So yay! Happy New Year. I can't believe it's 2024. 2023 was an amazing year for me. I will just say that. I had made the commitment back in 2022, and I've probably shared this story before, but it's exciting to me. I'd made the commitment in 2022 that 2023 was going to be the year that I was going to build my business. And I worked on it really hard all last year, and the best part about what I did was the amazing people that I met, all of you. And I've had so much fun. So of course I'm excited about 2024. And there's so much to share with you tonight because the new mini catalog has gone live. I'll share that with you in just a second. Celebration has gone live as well. I've been teasing you the last couple weeks with just little things that I could show you because I couldn't show you inside the catalog, but now I can show you inside the catalog. So we're going to do that as well. But I was just going to say, if you're joining me, say hello. Hi, Mom. Good to see you. If there's others joining, please say hello just so that I know that you're there. And we'll go ahead and get started. So let me change my screen so I can, give me just a second. Yeah, I want to make sure that I continue to be here with you. But this is the new mini catalog. It goes from January through April, and we are going to be working out of the catalog tonight, but there are so many fun things in this catalog, and I've got a plan for you all the way up through April. So I'm excited to share a lot of things with you. Additionally, I wanted to share the celebration flyer. The celebration flyer is in effect January through February 29th. And if you're not familiar with what celebration is it's just a big thank you, if you will, for placing orders out of the main catalog. So you place an order if you have a qualifying order, and what I mean by qualifying orders, it's a $50 order or a $100 order, but you get to go shopping for free. And there's so many fun things in here, and they're all free for you when you place a qualifying order. So for example, tonight's a to-go class, and you can receive this to-go class for free when you place an order in my online store. So you get the class for free if you place a $40 order before tax and shipping. That's just $10 shy of the $50 that you need in order to get something free out of the celebration flyer. So if you like what we do tonight, you want the to-go class, you love the bundle, you might consider that, and then you get to keep shopping because now you get to go to celebrations. The other thing that I wanted to share with you in celebrations is two specials that we've got going on right now. I'm going to move this stuff off my mat, my glass mat, for just a second. The glass mat is part of what I wanted to share with you. But when you decide to purchase the starter kit with Stampin' Up, you can receive this glass mat for free. This glass mat is a $60 value, and it comes with a silicone tray. The silicone tray can hold your little Stampin' cubes, so your Stampin' spots. You can rest your stamp pads on it. You can do some ink blending. There's lots of things that you can do with it. Or you can just move it out of the way, but it doesn't slide. So that's good news. The other thing that comes with it is a nice little cloth to be able to clean up after you've been creating. And we're going to actually use this today because I've got something that we're going to do that we're going to be doing on the mat. But what I wanted to share, this is 2024, and for me, I'm continuing to grow my business. As I grow my business, I want to build my team too. If you are thinking about it, or you don't even know if you're interested, I would love to answer your questions. I really would. I'm looking to build my team. I want you on my team if you're interested. If you love stamping, this is a great time to join. You get the glass mat. I would love to have you as part of my team so that I can work with you and share with you and just have more fun in 2024. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm looking for hostesses. I worked really hard last year. I did a number of craft fairs last year. I did actually start going live on Facebook in October of last year, so I really haven't even been doing this very long. But I'm working to build my business in the fact that I want to get to know more of you. I work from home. I have a corporate job. I don't get out much because of my corporate job, and I don't get a chance to meet a lot of people. So I'm looking for hostesses, both face to face. We can do a class at my home, at your home, or we can do a virtual class online. So if you're interested, if you want to earn some free product, and that's what I wanted to share as well, is they've got a special going on right now that if you reach the sales level of 300, it starts at 150, you start to get free product. When you hit 300, they give you what you're going to get plus an additional $30. So it's a great time if you've got a wish list to consider hosting a party or a class and earning free product that way as well. So not going to spend a lot more time on this. I will be sharing this information throughout the next few Facebook Lives, but I do want to get to the cards. And before I actually get to the cards, I was cleaning up after Christmas and I found a couple more cards. I shared some last week that some of my customers and demonstrators had shared with me. I found two more that I really wanted to share with you because I think they're beautiful. They're both demonstrator cards, demonstrators that are on my team. This one was Diane, and I loved this card because it's so simplistic, but yet so elegant. She's embossed the front of it, and then we've got several layers. We've got a layer of DSP, we've got a layer of Pretty Peacock, and then we've got a beautiful layer of DSP again. And just so simple, but yet so elegant. I love it. Thank you, Diane. And then my other demo, Tina made this for me. This is actually a stamp set that we had last year, but it's one of her favorites. She loves trailers and camping and everything. So she made it with the Christmas trees and the Christmas lights. She used little gems on the Christmas lights, and it just was so cute. We've even got some glitter paper on the background for snow. So Tina, great job. Thank you so much. All right, so let's look at the cards that we're going to do tonight. And I'll go more into the to-go class later at the end of the at the end of this class. So the first card that we're going to make, and we're actually utilizing the Forever Love Sweet collection. I should probably bring it back out because I really do want to show this to you. I'm kind of all over the place tonight, aren't I? But this is the Forever Love Sweet collection. We're going to be utilizing the designer series paper. We've got the stamp set that we're going to utilize with the dies. We've got we've got a card that we're going to be using the gold foiled flower cards and envelopes, so you can see what we're doing with that. And then we're going to be utilizing the pretty pink and pretty peacock foiled gems. The only thing that we're not using, but I think it's beautiful, is the ribbon, the pretty peacock and gold ribbon. It's just gorgeous and it's very sheer. So I don't have it in the cards tonight, but I may get it incorporated for next week because we're going to be doing the same bundle next week. But this is a fun bundle, so I'm excited to get back to showing you what we were going to make. So card number 1. We'll be working on this first and foremost. Then we've got a second card that we're going to make, and we're going to use 2 of my favorite colors, of course, Pretty Peacock, and then we've got Moody Mauve, and then this is Petal Pink. We're making a card with Petal Pink as well. So I'm going to go ahead and switch things around so that you can see better, and I'm not going to be in the way, and we will get started on our first card. Did I go away yet? I did not go away. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm back. Very good. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with the Pretty Peacock card. This is the kit that we're going to be utilizing. We have a piece of Pretty Peacock that is our card base. We have a piece of, I'm going to bring this into you. Remember I was talking about the card set that we've got. This is the card set that comes with that suite. And these are actually cards. Fold them in half, become a card. And then you've got an envelope that you can use. So you can do a lot of things with this, but a beautiful envelope as well. So what I did is I took one of these cards, I cut it down so that it would fit on my cardstock. And we're going to play around with this in just a second. Additionally, we have a piece of designer series paper with the countryside dies that cut this out. I've got a piece of gold foil. And then I've also got some flowers that I went ahead and cut out. And what I want to share with you is that, hold on a second, checking things out. This paper is amazing. I've had so much fun playing with it. The dies to the stamp set. So this is the Lifetime of Love stamp set. The dies to the stamp set, let me just pull one out for you, or a couple maybe. But they actually fit, let me pull this one out, we're going to be using it. They actually fit your designer series paper. So what I did is I went through, because this is Pretty Peacock and it's got a gold foil, I went through and I just started working to die cut a lot of these out. So you can see how the dies fit. So I didn't have to do anything but go through my designer series paper and cut out a number of these dies. There's also some leaves that, let's see, it's on this page because I've already done them. But by the time you get them cut out, they look like this. So this sleeve was this sleeve. So easy, easy, easy. I loved playing with this set. And so in order to speed things up a bit, I have done some die cutting. But for the most part, we're going to be utilizing the majority of this designer series paper as we create the cards this week and next week. So let me move this out of the way again. Move these out of the way. And the first thing I'm going to do is, so I don't lose this, I'm going to put this here. Move these out. I'm going to show you what I did with this piece, because obviously you can see by this card that this does not look like that, except for it's just the same design. What I did is I took my Pretty Peacock ink, and I'll go ahead and get this opened up. Move this stuff out of the way. Took my cardstock, or you know, my card base, if you will, and I'm going to use my blending brush. And the blending brush is actually going to color, now that I've dipped it in my Pretty Peacock ink, I'm going to take it and I'm going to just swirl it around my card. And I can pick up the ink that's on the glass mat as well. I tap it off so that I'm not having like a stark place on my card where I initially start. You can see that I'm swirling it around in circles, but I'm also trying to be even with my color versus coming in directly right on top of the card and have a darker spot, if you will. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue to color this in. You can make it as light or as dark as you want, but it doesn't take very long. The blending brushes are great. So I'm going to pick up some of the color now that's on my mat. I don't want to waste it. I can still continue to use it. And if I need more, I can just dip back in and continue to swirl around. So we're going to do this all the way around until we have the card base completely covered. And let me see, I've got a couple of places where my fingers were in the way. When you get your fingers in the way and you don't want to get ink on them, you can take a piece of Post-it note and just put it down, and then you can finish doing your coloring or your blending, and you don't have to worry about getting your fingers into it. So I'm just going to do that. Everything looks good to me. I'm going to set this off to the side, close up my ink. And I'm going to take out that rag that I was telling you about, because I do have a mess on my glass plate, but I can go ahead and get it all wiped up. It's all good, and I'm ready to keep creating. So let me put this off to the side. I'm going to move my silicone mat off just a little bit to give me a little bit more space. And the next thing that I'm going to do, while this continues to dry, I'm going to let this dry just a little bit. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some die cutting. I want to be able to die cut from the gold. And let me see, I thought that so I need a piece of very vanilla cardstock. Let me see if I can grab some. I thought that I had what I needed, but I need a very vanilla cardstock. So let me see if I can grab from something else. And I think actually I would typically use cardstock, but because I don't have it in front of me right at the moment, and I'm gonna have to cut down this envelope for another card, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the envelope, because it is very vanilla, for my die cutting. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to kind of skip ahead just a second to the next card, and I'm going to trim down the envelope just barely, because I want to be able to open it up flat. So you can see I've just gotten a small little piece off, and we'll go over this again when we get to that card, but I need this piece of very vanilla for the card that I'm working on right now. So we'll go ahead and open that up. We've got a little piece, and now this opens up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the bottom of this off, because the other card, all I need is basically an inch or so to work with. So I'm going to go ahead, and now I've got this piece that I can work with, and it happens to be very vanilla. Yay. So we're good. Let me push this off to the side. I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss. I'm going to bring in my plates, and we are going to utilize, let me turn this around so that we can work with it. We are going to utilize this big die. I'm going to start with the gold foil. So we're going to go ahead and get it on here, and I need to go diagonally. And because I need to go diagonally and run it through, this is going to be too wide to go through. So I'm basically just going to line this up, and then I can cut off at this end, turn it around, cut off at this end. And then when I bring my plates in, I can lay this down. It is totally on my gold foil. I'm going to try to get by without taping it down, but I don't want it to slide. So let's go ahead and crank this through. And now when you take this out, let me get rid of the scrap pieces here. You've got an inside piece. Let's see if I can pop this out. Lots of little pieces, but I want to be gentle with it because you can see how delicate it actually is, especially around the top. So let me go ahead and work these out. I almost feel like, give me just a second, I'm gonna try to work these through. It feels like this was a little bit thicker and I needed to go through again. Sometimes that happens. I think we had a situation like this last week when we were going through the acetate. Sometimes it just doesn't go through. It looks like a lot of it cut, but because this is so delicate, I don't want to risk tearing it. So I'm going to put my piece back down again, and then I'm going to take my die and let me poke out the pieces that did come out of it. And I'm just going to line it back up again. And it's easy to line back up again because it just fits back into all of the grooves. So, you know, sometimes you can get it all out in one pass, and sometimes not so much. So let me go ahead and get this lined up again. Everything fit back in nice and tight. So I'm going to pass it through again, and we'll see if we can get it this second time around. And I'm actually going to back it up. All right. Yep, the middle piece came out, as you can see. And now what I'm going to do is I'm very gently going to poke this one out so you can see what it looks like with the gold foil. Get my centers out of these. So pretty. Very delicate, but beautiful. Okay, so we've got this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it aside for just a second. I don't need this piece in foil. I need it in the Very Vanilla. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that piece aside, clean off my plate, and we're going to line it back up again, and I'm going to cut it a second time, only I'm going to cut it on the Very Vanilla. So let's go ahead and get my top plate on, and then we'll clean up this mess of all these little pieces. Let me see, I don't think I got all my pieces out here. I just wanted to have a clean cut, so I'm going to get the rest of these pieces out. And I just use my take your pick to pop those pieces out. It's pretty simple. All right. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Let me make sure I've got this totally lined up. Crank this through. And this actually is thinner, but I'm not taking any chances. I'm going to crank it back through this way as well. All right. So I think we've got this. Yes, we do. I need this piece. It's going to go inside my gold foil. So let me get all these pieces out of the way and get my cut and emboss out of the way. Place it over here. I'm going to set the die. I don't really need all these pieces, but I'll go ahead and pop. Oh, you know what? I still have it in there. Yes, I do. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this out. I'm actually going to save this. I mean, I don't need it for the card tonight, but it's beautiful. And I want to keep it. So I will save it and I can utilize it on another card. So let me put that off to the side. We'll put the die off to the side. Let me finish poking the rest of these out quickly. That way I can get them all the pieces cleaned up at the same time. I think my voice is going froggy. I don't know why. I feel good, but I feel like I sound froggy. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and let's get rid of these scrap pieces so that they don't get in our way. There's a lot of them. And I'm gonna just pick them up and toss them away. The rest of them I'm gonna try to scoot off the edge and then I'll bring it back. Alrighty, and then I'll just push this back so you guys can see. All right, so next we're gonna do some stamping. I'm gonna bring out this piece, and this piece is actually going to fit back into this piece. So when we do that, we want to do our stamping along this side, and we're actually then going to put our sentiment here. So I am utilizing these stamps. These are part of the Lifetime of Love stamp set. We are going to use congratulations on your wedding day, and then we're also going to utilize one of the flower bouquets, if you will. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in just a piece of scrap paper. I could do it on my glass mat, but I want to catch it on the scrap paper. And I'm going to ink up the flowers to start with the pretty peacock. So we'll just go ahead and stamp those. I'm just going to test them real quick. Yep, got a good coating on that. And then we're going to just stamp off. I just want to get the edges of it. So we're going to do here and stamp. We've got a little bit there. And then I'm going to turn it a little bit, and we're going to do some more right here. Okay. So we've got a little bit of a flower here. Maybe, I think what I'll do is I'll just take the angle of this one, since we're stamping off anyway, and I'll put it up here. That way we've got a little bit more of a flower there. So let me clean off my stamp on my Simply Chamois. And then we're going to bring in the sentiment. Now the sentiment is a bit challenging because it has a nice little line through it, which is great, except for it helps to highlight when it's not stamped exactly straight. So I think what I'm going to do, since I am stamping on, it's not a photopolymer stamp, it is a rubber stamp, and I also got ink on the edges. I do not want ink on the edges. If I go straight up and straight down, I probably won't have any issues, but I don't want to take any chances. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that ink. It's been inked up, tap, 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 lightly. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to line this up on my glass mat so that this is even the way that I want it to be. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit so that I can see. I don't want to get my head in the way for you guys, but I need to be able to see a little bit better. And then what I'm going to try to do is when I put the stamp on, I used the glass mat to put the stamp on, and I lined it up with the edge. The glass stamp, or the stamp was lined up with the edge of the mat and the stamp block. So I'm going to go ahead and line these back up again, make sure I've got it centered the way that I want it. And I think this is where I'm going. So I'm going to set it right here. And if it is a little crooked, not a problem. It's a handmade card, but I think I did pretty good. It looks nice. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this off, and then we're going to start to finish pulling things together. All right, so we've got that cleaned up. I'm going to close up this ink pad. And now what I want to do is I'm going to bring out my silicone mat. And the reason that I'm going to bring out the silicone mat is because I'm going to be doing some gluing. And I want to make sure that when I'm gluing, I have everything set up the way that it needs to be set up. And the silicone mat just helps to, I don't want to say repel the glue, but it's easier to get things organized and off of your mat with the glue, because I will glue down on the mat and then I can pull it up. But you'll see as I go about doing this. So we have some flowers that we've got underneath, and right now I'm just going to lay it out so you can see it. So we're going to put some flowers underneath just to kind of highlight it. And then I've got some greenery that I'm also going to perhaps put underneath a little bit, and I'm just going to do some organizing right now. So I'm just playing around. And then I've got some greenery over here that I want to bring in as well. So for the most part, that's what I want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the flowers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put the glue on the back of my die cut. I've got a piece that I need to pull out, because it'll make it easier for me to line things up. So I'm going to put it on the back of my die cut, just a little bit. I don't want to do a lot. I say that I don't want to do a lot, and then I do a lot. So I'm just going to continue to pull glue from there as we do this. But I'm going to kind of go around and see if I can just get a little bit of glue on at this point in time. We'll be doing more adhering as we go forward. So we're going to start here. I'm going to turn this over, and I want to lay this piece down on top of my leaves, and I want to kind of center it over this rose that's already here. So we'll go ahead and we'll set this down. If you want, you can take a block and you can put it on top of it for just a second so that it gets a good adherence to it. I'm going to try to grab these leaves because these are the next things that I'm going to glue down. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now we've got this glued down. I'm going to set one, or try to adhere one set of leaves to this side. And now what I can do is, because I've already got something on the back of this to adhere these leaves to, rather than that very delicate die cut, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of this leaf. Thank you, Mom. I love it too. It takes a little bit more time. This is the one that takes a little bit more time, but it's so pretty by the time you're done with it. And it's not hard. You remember, I cut these out from the die cut, the paper. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to this one as well. And I'm going to tuck it in where I want it to be. So I'm going to tuck it in about right here. And I'm going to set that down. And I just want things to adhere for just a minute. So the next thing that we're going to do once this is done is we're going to take this die cut and we're going to adhere it to the designer series paper that we cut out. So hopefully I've got this glued down enough. Maybe I need a little bit more glue on the back of this piece right here. Just a tiny bit. My little glue bottle, I know I need to be in window. My little glue bottle helps me to put little pieces. But let me share with you a little tip. If you don't have the little glue bottle and you're trying to get underneath, take a piece of scrap paper, or for me right now, I've got this Post-it note. Put a little bit of glue on your Post-it note. And then you can bring it and you can just kind of paint it underneath your piece and place it down, and that will help you get that adhered without getting too much glue and without making a mess. So as you can see, this side needs to be glued down a little bit more. I'm just going to kind of paint it down and then adhere it. Okay, so we'll let that adhere for just a second, and then we're going to bring this piece in, and I'm going to have to put a little bit of glue on the very edges of my die cut piece so that I can lay this down. So we'll turn this over, and I could paint it, I guess. I've got a little bit of glue left right here, so I could take this glue and I could just kind of swipe it over. I can't really see what I'm doing though. But let me try with the glue bottle, and then anything that I don't get, I will do with the paper and just do a little bit of painting. But I'm just gonna do a little bit. I don't want a lot, just a tiny, tiny bit. And then I can put glue on the main part of the pieces that we just glued down. So now we can turn this over, and I'm gonna center this as best I can, top to bottom. Got a little bit, and if it's over a little bit at the top, just because that's the way you placed your leaf, that's fine. Let's try to center this a little bit more here. And then now that I've got this down, I'm definitely putting a few blocks on it just to kind of help hold it for a second so it will adhere. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to glue it down. This is down. Perhaps, well, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work to fit this piece in. It's like putting together the pieces of a puzzle. Like that. So I'm going to pop it back out again. I just wanted to make sure it was going to fit. And now I can glue this down. So let's go ahead and do this. And then I'm just gonna do like little teeny tiny dots on the ends of these to get them in. And then once I get this adhered, and I wanna make sure I line it up appropriately because I don't wanna get glue on my gold. So we're gonna get this, it all fits in, and then I can take my take your pick and have it help me just kind of poke things down a little bit. Not significantly, but I'm trying to get everything to fit back in the way that it was. And so I might need to help it out just a little bit. And if it's not going down the way that I want it to, then I can always add some additional glue to it. But I've got this down. So there we go. The only difference I think is my ink was just a little bit darker on the first one, but this is exactly the way that it needs to be. So let's go ahead now and we'll take this piece and we will adhere it. Glue down, and we're going to, I think, how do I want this to go? Maybe like this. So I'm going to adhere this down to this piece and get it centered. You have to pick it up just a little bit to make sure I'm getting from top to bottom and side to side. I'm going to just turn it over a little bit, give it a quick press, and now I need to bring back my pretty peacock cardstock. We'll go ahead and fold this in half. Get the edges lined up. I've got my bone folder right here. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to glue it down. And I set this up so that it's just basically 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So we'll make sure we get this centered correctly. Very good. And then the very last thing we're going to do is we're going to take the Petal Pink and Pretty Peacock foiled gems. And these gems are so pretty. I don't know, maybe I can put them up high enough so that you guys can see. But can you see the foil in them? The pink and the Pretty Peacock. So pretty. So let's go ahead and get a couple of these down. We'll put one up here. And another one maybe right here. And then I'm going to put one over here, about right here. And this card's done. Oh my gosh, look how pretty it is. I love this card. So pretty, and it really wasn't hard. It just takes a little bit of time to get it done, but so excited about that card. All right. Let's kind of clean things off a little bit and let's go to our next card. Our next card is going to be utilizing the Moody Mauve. Oh, you know what? There's one piece that I forgot. I just realized it. I have this flower that I was going to put on top here. So let me just take, let me look to see, did I even, no, I just glued it down. Oops, sorry. We had this off to the side, but it kind of tops off the card. And brings the turquoise from below up as well while you've got the gold. So now this card is done, I promise. Okay, let's go to the next card. This is Moody Mauve. So we have a piece of Moody Mauve. We have a piece of Designer Series paper from that same pack. And I've got 2 pieces, scrap pieces of Very Vanilla. And then I've got a couple of flowers here and some, oh, look here, I've got another flower. I went ahead and got the flowers cut out for you. So, and then we've got some leaf sprigs. So let me bring this card in so you can look at it again to see what we're making. We are going to be cutting that same design again. And this time what we're gonna do is we're gonna stamp on it, but we're gonna emboss. So let's go ahead and get it cut first, because before I can emboss it, I need to have that center piece out. So I'm gonna bring this back. I've got my die here because we just utilized it on the last card. So we'll get this centered up. And the top to my sandwich is right here. And I'm gonna crank this through. And just to be safe, I'm gonna crank it through once, and then I'm gonna back it off and I'm gonna crank it through again. Just to make sure that we get a good cut. So let me pull this off to the side. And it did cut. So let's see, is this one coming out? It's the only part that isn't coming out. So when you've got one that just seems to be, oh, there it is. It just needed a little bit of finessing. So let me put this off to the side. I'm gonna pull this off to the side because I'm gonna be stamping on that. Let's get these little pieces off of here. Get that out of the way. And then we will be able to pull this piece out, kind of poking through the holes so that I can get a hold of it. And then once I do, I'm going to very gently pull it out of the die. So I'll pull this off to the side, and then I'm going to poke out my little center pieces. And then we'll set this aside and start embossing. So let me get these pieces here. This is so delicate, but it's beautiful. All right, let's keep working on this. Almost there. Oh, a couple more pieces. There we go. Now we've got it. Isn't that pretty? Okay, set this off to the side. Let's get this cleaned up. I should have brought over my little vacuum. I even have a littler vacuum, Mom. It's a mini teeny weeny vacuum, but I'll have to bring it next time I work on these little pieces. All right, got those. Now what we're gonna do is I'm going to bring my embossing kit over. So we're gonna emboss this in gold, and it's gonna be on this piece. And we're gonna stamp "Wishing you a lifetime of love and happiness." So we're gonna start with the Versamark. Actually, I'm gonna take my embossing buddy, and this just is utilized. It's got a powder in it, and basically what it does is it helps to alleviate any oils that might be on the paper. Embossing powder cleans to oil, fingerprints, things like that. So I want to make sure that I've taken care of that. So when I go to emboss, the ink or the embossing powder only sticks to the Versamark ink and not to the rest of the card. So I'm going to stamp this up really good with my ink, my Versamark ink. And now I'm going to have to pull this down. I'm going to try to keep it in window so you guys can see. But I'm looking to see how I'm going to place this. And this is going to be the top of my card. So I want to make sure that I get this centered appropriately. I want to get it up high enough. And I'm going to go down. Make sure I get a good connection with my ink. And then we'll go ahead and we'll dip this into the gold embossing powder. I'm just gonna dip it, let it fall over, kind of tap it off, but you can see that it's embossed. I'm gonna do a second coat just to make sure. Oh, my peas need a little bit more. I can see that they were missed just a little bit, but now I've got my embossing powder on it. So let me close this up. I'm going to clean off my ink pad really quickly, and then we'll bring over the heat gun and get this heated up so that we can start to put the rest of the card together. So I'm going to clean this off. And now we have our heat gun. It's going to get a little loud for just a second. I don't want this to fall off. Okay. A lot of times when I'm heating with my heat gun, I let the heat gun heat up, and then I will start to emboss. So I don't go take the heat gun to the card right away. I let it heat up. So give me just a second. take it to the card, and hopefully you can start to see the embossing powder change from a dull to a bright, shiny. It doesn't take very long at all. Once you've got it done, double check to make sure you didn't miss anything. You can tilt it different directions to make sure everything has been melted. But if you miss something, the next time you touch it with your finger, it will wipe off. So you always want to make sure that you get it heated completely. The other thing that you want to do is you don't want to overheat it. You can melt your embossing powder. So you go from a pretty shiny embossing image to it becomes dull, and then it's no longer shiny. So let me go ahead and we're going to start to put things together. I've got this designer series paper that I've cut 1/8 of an inch short on all sides. So just a little bit of the Moody Mauve is going to show through. So let's go ahead and get this on. And then I'm going to move it around because I'm not even. A little bit more this way. Okay. All right, we got it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this little guy and we're going to adhere him first. And so this is going to be one of those fun things to do. I've chosen to use glue. You could have put an adhesive paper on the back and cut it, and then all you would have had to do was it would have die cut with the die, the paper, and then all you would have had to do is peel the back off. I did not do that, so I'm going to be utilizing my glue, but I feel very comfortable with the glue and the little glue tip so that I can just put a little bit of glue here and there and get it adhered down. And then anything that isn't adhered that I feel like needs a little bit more glue, I can use my little paper technique on. So let me do this. The other thing is, you know, I've shared with the glue is forgiving. So if I don't get this die down exactly where I want it, I can kind of slide it around a little bit. So let's see if we can get it's centered. It's sticking to my fingers. I want to get it straight here. And if I've got adhesive on the back, it just makes it harder for me to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and press this down. I like where this is at. I can see that I need to get a few areas down, especially right here. So where's my paper that I was using? I lose my... I'll just take a piece of scrap like this. So I'm going to tear off a piece of scrap like this, put some glue on the end of it, like so. And then I'm just going to take it underneath, and then I can press it down. Let's see if I get some right here. Let me go this way, get some more down on this one. I might need a little bit more. It's getting too far out. Put some on the edge right here. Get everything down the way that I want it. And then the next thing to do is, you got it, we're going to put the puzzle together and we're going to stick this piece in. So I'm double checking it. It looks good. I'm going to go ahead and get it glued down. What's fun about this is this piece, for all practical purposes, was intended to be cut out so that your die piece looks like this. But it's fun to be able to actually place it back in with your embossing on it, your stamping on it, and make it part of the cardigan. And you still get the little intricate areas along the edges that were part of the die cut. So I'm going to go ahead and get this pressed down. And now what I can start doing is adding some of these leaf sprigs. So I can put one over here maybe. I'm just gonna lay them down right now. I'm kind of playing with them. I can put one up here. I'm gonna take another one and I'm gonna kind of angle it out a little bit. I'm gonna take it down about right here and angle it out. So let's get this one down first. And again, I'm gonna clean off the tip of my glue bottle, but I'm just going to do little dots on my leaves. Little bitty dots. And then once I've got that, then I can turn it over and place it where I want it to be. And I think I want it to be probably right about here. So we'll press that down. We'll do this one. I'm going to hold it by the stem, do the exact same thing. Okay, and then we'll put this one down here so that it kind of flares out a little bit off to this side. And we'll take this one and put it at the top. So almost done with this card. Didn't take long at all. I mean, once you've got all your pieces die cut and everything, then it's just a matter of assembling. And the assembling is actually fun. So we'll get this down. Okay, then I've got my flowers and I'm gonna put one flower over here to kind of hide the end of that stem. And then this is a bigger one. I'm gonna pop it up over here to hide the end of that stem. And then this flower is gonna come over here and it's going to angle in here a little bit to hide that stem, just the ends of it. So let's go ahead and get this one down first. And we'll place it right here. And I'm gonna kind of tuck it in around my wording. And then this one will go down next. And we'll tuck it in right here up by the leaf. And then this last one, I'm gonna take a dimensional and I'm gonna pop it up. So I'm just gonna put one on the back and we'll go ahead and take that back off. And I'm gonna pop this up about right here. Let's see, I'm gonna move it over just a little bit. So we've got it here. So then the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take those fun little gems again, only this time I'm going to use the petal pink and I'm going to add some gems to the card. Oops, I think I've got glue on my fingers, so let me see. I'm gonna put one up here and I'm gonna put another probably about right here. And then my last one I want, let's see, I'm gonna do a big one. I'm gonna do that about right here. Okay. And now this card's done. How pretty. So simple, but so elegant, so pretty. All right, so let's get to our last card. Let me remind you what it was. If I can find it. Oh, it's right here. This one. This one's the one that we're gonna actually use the envelope. So remember earlier, because I needed a piece of Very Vanilla, I took, just as a reminder, I took the envelope and I sliced off the very slightest of an inch here, very slightest of an inch here. When you did that, you were able to open the envelope. And then when you open the envelope, all you really want to do is you want to save just about an inch off of it. If you fold it, there's a score line there. If you fold the score line, you've got about an inch. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring the kit in now and I'm going to show you. We have the petal pink cardstock. I have some designer series paper. I also have the envelope that we've already taken care of. And then I've pulled in a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock here. This piece was actually fussy cut. So I went ahead and did the fussy cutting ahead of time because fussy cutting these pieces takes a little bit more time. You've got various bouquets, if you will, that you can select from. And I was using up a piece of the designer series paper, so it's a different bouquet than the initial one I had, but it's the same concept. So I'm going to move this off to the side just a second before we start to assemble, because what we need to do is we need to stamp our sentiment. So let me get these things out of the way. And the sentiment is going to be love you. I don't believe I have pulled it out of the box yet. So we've got it right here. I'm going to pull that out, and I'm actually going to, let me see, I've got another block up here I can utilize. So I'm going to put the love you on the block. And again, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll line up the love you or whatever my sentiment is. If I can get my fingers to quit sticking to it. And then I'll take my block and I will line my block top up with one of these lines. And that way I feel like my sentiment is straighter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it in Moody Mauve. Moody Mauve is right here. So we'll go ahead and get that stamped. Again, we're using rubber stamps, so I don't need the stamp pad that I typically use. And I'm going to move it over here just a little bit, straight down, straight up. That's good. And now let me clean this off, and I will show you the perennial postage set, whoops, that I am utilizing for my die cut. Let me pull that. I'm going to put this up here. Get this closed. Get this closed. I'm going to have to bring my Stampin' Cup emboss back in. But this is the perennial postage bundle. It comes with a number of sentiments, fun sentiments, sending you love and best wishes. You are loved beyond measure. I can't thank you enough. But then the dies that go with this look like postage stamps. So you have large postage stamps, you have small postage stamps, you have canceled stamps. Just a fun set to do a lot with. I'm going to actually cut out the sentiment that we're utilizing on this card with this particular die. So let me go ahead and get it lined up. I am going to need a little bit of tape to hold it in place. So let me get it lined up here the way that I want it. Move it over a little bit. Get my tape on it just to hold it in place. We'll bring the cut and emboss back in with my little sandwiches. And we'll crank this through. I'm going to pull this off very carefully. I've got tape on it, and even though this is really low tack tape, I still don't want to take any chances. And now I have my sentiment. Okay, so let's move this off to the side and we can start to assemble. I'm going to bring my base back in to start. So I'm going to fold that in half. This is the petal pink base. I'm going to turn it this way, and basically what you want is you want your envelope to glue to this side of your cardstock so that when you open it up, and I'll get it glued down, but when you open it up, it serves as just a flap, okay? So couple things that I'm noticing right off, and I had the same issue with my first card, but I want to show you how to address it. I want to make sure that this aligns with the edge of my card stock. So otherwise we're going to have issues getting it into an envelope. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it off to the side, and to start I'm going to try to cut right even with the side of the card. Okay, so I'm going to turn this one the same way. I can see a little bit of it, and then I've got to get past that first part, and then it just cuts off. So now it is even on both sides, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. Now, I might need to trim these edges off. I will do that later. We'll see if it fits into the card. or the envelope. If it fits in the envelope, I'm not going to worry about it. But what we need to do now is we need to get this glued down. So the first thing that we're going to do to glue it down is I'm going to make sure that it fits here. And then I'm going to put the glue on this side so that when I close it, it's going to glue to this side and it's going to glue right at the edge. Or it should glue right at the edge. Okay, so I've got this down. I'm going to fold this. It's now at the edge. So when I open this up, it's glued. Okay? And it folds over the way that I need it to fold over. Got it? All right, so now we have this little strip here. Not very pretty. So what I did is I took a piece of very vanilla cardstock and I cut it to the length and the width of the envelope. So what I need to do now is I need to glue it in, and it looks like I need to trim off just a little teeny tiny bit of a sliver. I mean, it's exactly the length of the cardstock. Well, maybe what I can do, it folds over this way. Let me do this, folds over this way. I think basically I don't need to trim it. I'll just have to fold that a little bit more. So let's go ahead and get this glued down. And this will be your inside. You can stamp a sentiment on it. You can write your note on it, however you want to handle your inside. But at least then this will cover that strip and hide it. So let's get this down, fold this over. I want to make sure I'm getting it. Okay, everything's good. And now we've got a pretty inside. Okay, so we've got that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this designer series paper and we're going to put it on the outside of your petal pink cardstock. So we've got glue here. Let me get this aligned. 1/8 of an inch on each side, basically. So double checking to make sure everything's straight. Do I need to slide it down a little bit? Okay, so now we've got this on. This folds over. Now we're ready to adhere our, I call it a bouquet. We're going to adhere our bouquet. The challenge to adhering the bouquet is the fact that you don't want to get glue on the inside of your card. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my mat again, and I'm going to figure out where I want my bouquet to go. So let me do it this way. I'm going to do it like this. I want my bouquet to go right about here. So let me think about this for just a second, because when I open this up, what I want to do is I want to put glue on the outside of my envelope and yet not get it on my bouquet. So let me think through it again. I did it the first time. It just takes a little bit of planning. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this side of my flower to start. So I will get it down. So I can go ahead and I can get this whole side of my flower glued down. You guys are able to see that. I've only glued half of it. The other half is the half that goes over the envelope. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this real quickly. Make sure I'm good there. I am good. I've got it where I want it to go. It's on. And then what I can do is I can just basically, now that this side is glued on, I can take and I can put a little bit of glue on various areas of my envelope, looking to see where it's gonna go down. So, because my biggest concern is I just don't want to get it on the back of my cardstock. So I'm looking at various areas where I can take it down. And now I've got this glued down. Oh, I've got this little piece down here that I need to do. So let's go ahead and do a couple little, you can kind of see where it needs to go. So you can just lay this down. Okay, we've got it. Now this is adhered. Last thing to do is to put our sentiment on. So I'm going to take my tweezers and pull out a couple of dimensionals right here. And then we'll put it right across. Let's see, I'm going to take it down just a little bit. I want to make sure that I've got it level. I've got it level. We've got it there. I'm going to bring in a few more of these gems to dress this card up. So we'll put one up here. We will put, I love bling. Do you guys like bling? I like bling. It's so fun. And these are just gorgeous. I'm really enjoying this bling. All right, there you go. Card number 3, done. So pretty, so easy. You can put your sentiment inside, or you can, like I said, stamp inside. But here's card number 3. So let me clear this all up, and then I'll get back with you guys. Bring the other 2 cards in. We've got this one. We've got this one. And then we've got this one. All so pretty. All part of the Forever Love Sweet collection. So let me come back and join you for just a second. Let me see. I'm going to do this and this. And oh, there we are. Okay, I'm back. So again, this is a to-go class. Let me pull up the host code so you guys have the host code. If you go to my website, aprildaviscreations.com, and you go to the classes to go page, it will give you all the information for the to-go class. The $40 order, the $50 order. I might have neglected to say that if you place a $50 order, you actually get a set of these gorgeous gems. Plus, if you get a $50 order, you're going to get to pick something out of the celebration flyer, which is exciting. But that's all out on my website. That's the host code. Let me take this down and I'll bring the website up so you've got that. And the other thing that I just want to share with you again is that I am working to build my business. So if you have questions about what the starter kit's all about and you're interested in this glass mat, please message me. Please put a comment. I will get back with you and answer your questions. You don't know? That's fine. If you've got questions, I'm happy to answer. The other thing that I'm looking for is hostesses to grow my business as well. I want to meet more people. So if you're interested in hostessing a class and getting free product for hostessing the class, then I get to meet all of your friends and family and whoever, and I get to share the joy of stamping with them. Plus you get free product. We can also do a virtual class. So if you're out of the area and you want to do something, again, message me and I'll share with you how we can do a virtual class. I would love to be your demonstrator if you don't have one. And I'm looking forward to 2024 and sharing more to-go classes with you at my Facebook Live. So thank you everybody for joining me tonight. And I will see you next week. Bye everyone.